my sophomore year of high school, my parents decided that we were going to go on Hajj. And for those of you who don't know, Hajj is a set of rituals that if you're financially and physically capable of completing, it was a requirement to do so in your lifetime at least once. And part of the rituals is staying out in the desert for 5 days, and I promise it was very, very comfortable. The tents were basically like hotels, AC, food, whatever you wanted. Our last day there, at the last moment, I needed to go use the bathroom, and by the time I came back, me being late as usual, the entire group had left except another family. My parents were really mad, but I was like, it's okay, calm down. There are signs, there are people. We'll get there. And yes, like I said, when we got out of the tents, masses of people were going through. You had to reach the area. You had to go through like a very, very long tunnel. They were going through the tunnel, and so we followed them. I was clinging to my dad. My mom was clinging to me, and the next family was doing the same. At one point, my mom said that she literally saw me growing taller from the pressure of the crowd. I promise you. Okay, you have to imagine 3 million people doing the exact same thing at the exact same time that you're doing it. And the space in which you had to walk was actually not very large. It probably took me 10 minutes to shuffle to get about a couple of yards. Anyway, by the time we had completed the rituals, it was probably 12 o'clock at night. So from 10 to 12, I'd been walking and completing the rituals. I don't think I had anything to eat. I was tired. I was ready to go to bed. And at this point, you have two choices. You can either do it by the book or you can go back to the hotels. I was all for going to the hotels. Like when they said what we wanted to do, I was like, hotels, please. However, my dad and the uncle that we were with decided they wanted to do everything by the books, which meant going back to the tented areas. So we were looking for taxis, and then someone finally told us there was going to be no taxis because there was, again, millions of people crawling the streets. However, there were a few buses, and we managed to get onto one of them. And as soon as I got onto the bus, I just took a nap. I was out as soon as I sat down. My mom said it had been 2 hours when the driver finally stopped and told everyone that he couldn't take us any further and that we had to walk the rest of the way. So we walked the rest of the way to the tented areas, at which point it was like a sigh of relief because, you completed it by the book. Now we're just walking, and we kept walking, and at one point I realized that we were walking in circles because I kept seeing this like bathroom area, but I thought it was just another one and figured they all looked the same, but no, it was the same one. We'd been going in circles, and I was like, Dad, can we please ask someone, And he and the other uncle is like, no, it's okay, don't worry about it, we'll get you there, we know how to get there. So we kept walking and walking and walking, and I finally put my foot down, and I went up to the nearest soldier and I said, hey, can you please tell me how to get back to the American tents? And he goes, in an Arabic accent, I know no English. You can imagine like the disappointment I felt at that moment. So we kept walking until I saw another soldier, and he did speak English, and he said, go this way, make a left at this street, and then keep walking and make a right on that street. So we went this way, made a left on this street, and kept walking. And we didn't get anywhere near the American tents. At this point, my mom and the aunt that was with us, they both have arthritis, so I was extremely surprised that they held up as long as they could. They just sat down. They were like, no, we're not walking any further, we can't. And I was on the sideline, just kind of amusedly tired, and it was slightly funny. They were swearing at lovingly swearing at their respective husbands. So the husbands both gave in and they called someone from the group who came to get us. It was probably about 7 o'clock in the morning when I finally got to sleep. So imagine from 10 in the morning to 7 in the morning the next day. I'd been walking. I was extremely tired. And the moral of the story here is don't let your pride get the best of you. Ask directions.